this webinar is about save time and get organized with systems. Just to start off with some housekeeping, if you have any questions during the presentation, type them into the chat box and we will answer them at the end of the presentation during the Q&A. You can also put them into chat. Taylor is with us today, so she also can answer some questions. On a scale from 1 to 10, how overwhelmed are you feeling right now with your business? So just really think about it, like, are you feeling overwhelmed? There's definitely too much to do. So working smarter is how you're gonna, get over that hump. Absolutely need to be working smarter. Are you exhausted from doing everything and having limited time to focus on what you do best? So think about staying in your superpower. Thinking about what would my day look like if I was spending my whole day doing what I do best. You'd be happier, you would make more money, your business would, like, the deliverables would be better. There is so many things that it would improve so many things. How many more projects could you deliver if you had better systems in place, right? There's only so much time in the day. If you don't have those systems and processes in place, you're going to be limited on how many projects you can do. You're going to be limited on how quickly you can deliver those processes. You're going to be limited on, like, or not consistent with the quality, like the deliverables of your projects, because you can't remember everything. Well, very few people do anyways. Having systems in place, such as software, automations, templates, and integrations, will save you time and help you get more done and create a better client experience. So I know a lot of people hold back, like they don't want to implement software because of the cost, or they don't want to spend time setting up automations or maybe setting up the templates. You need to step away for a second and look back at, kind of take an outsider's look of, what you're doing, because, yes, there is a cost to software. There is a setup. There is time. It takes time, and you have to invest in automations, templates, integrations, all those things. But it is the cost of doing those things is so much less than actually manually doing them. Like, if you're manually doing everything, the cost of that is the highest, because then you're not available to do other things that are paying more than the cost of setting up these things. And the best time, a lot of times, to set these up is when you're in the process of working on something. So if you're doing a kitchen and you're thinking, wow, I've done multiple kitchens, and I definitely have steps that I need to follow. How could I improve this process? I have a project right now. Maybe I'll spend a little bit more time on this project in order to improve my processes for future projects. That's how I always look at it. If you don't know us and this is your first time here, I'm Debra Scarpa, And next to me in the photo here is Ashley Blazing. She is our operations manager. We have quite a large team. We help interior designers transform their brands to get found online, win their dream clients, work smarter by streamlining their processes. Our team guides your business to success with custom branding, logos, websites, local SEO, social media, email marketing, and helping you improve your processes. Absolutely. I read a ton of listen to a ton of audiobooks and I hear over and over. You're not just to grow a business, you need to build those processes. There's only so much time in the day. You cannot get to the next level. It is not possible unless you're setting up systems and processes. This course is approved by NKDA, so you will need to, if you're reporting those to NKBA or any other, association, you will need the course title, the instructor name, the delivery method, the CEU numbers, which is 0.1. For some associations, you also need a certificate. We will be emailing a certificate out later with the recording and all this information. Taylor also will put this information in chat for you to copy. All right, so today's agenda is on systems. I like to think of systems in 4 different buckets: marketing, sales, operations, finances, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how to identify your superpower and what energizes you. When you're in your superpower, you're feeling good. You're energized, you're happy, you're just feeling really good. Taylor will also put into chat a link to sign up for our free brand website and SEO audit. If you haven't taken advantage of that already, that is, will help you get more clarity on what's working and what's not working with your brand. How are you ranking for SEO? Is your brand building trust, converting people, getting people interested? If you haven't taken advantage of that, definitely sign up. Think about working smarter, not harder, with software, automations, frameworks, templates, and integrations. When you're working on things, step back for a moment and really think how could I improve this? Is there a way that I can improve this? And it also is helpful if you're working with a team. I know when we're working with designers, we're constantly they're saying, oh, I have this problem with something, or, oh, I'm spending so much time doing something. And we might suggest, well, you can set up an automation for that, or we can set up software for that. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And that's why I'm super glad you're here, because we're going to talk in this webinar. We're going to spend some time just talking about what type of software automations, frameworks, templates, integrations are possible. Right? Even if you don't know how to do them yourself, being aware of what is possible so you can start thinking outside the box. Again, I like to think about growing your business by building systems, by looking at these different buckets. If you've ever heard of the book Traction, it is an amazing book. You can get it either audio or, you know, print, but it talks about, you know, these 4 different buckets, and we run on the traction business model, which is after the book. So marketing, think about all the systems and processes in marketing, software in marketing, sales, the same thing, systems, processes, operations, finances. So I am a business owner, right? So I am always looking at these 4 buckets. What is holding me back the most? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it operations? Is it finance? What could I focus on improving that's going to move the needle the most? What's going to help me get to that next level? So I'm constantly, in fact, every quarter we do an exercise. And even at the end of the year, we do an exercise where we're looking at these different buckets and, you know, thinking about, what do I need to be working on? You should always be working on something on your business. What bucket should I be working on that's going to help move the needle for this next year, for this quarter, for this month, for this week, right? That is a really great way to identify what needs to change. You know, is it marketing? You're not getting enough appointments. Is it sales? You're not closing those appointments, or maybe your proposals, you know, how can you improve that? Is it the way you're packaging, the way you're pricing, the way you're presenting? You know, there's a lot of different ways that can be improved. Operations. You know, is it it's taking you too long, or you're and deliverable isn't consistent, or you know, you want to bring on, you have too much work and you can't bring on more projects because you're doing everything custom every single time. Maybe that's the focus. Or maybe finance, maybe you're doing your invoicing, you know, you're not online taking payments and doing invoicing, maybe, or, you know, you're doing like maybe using QuickBooks. You're not using like some type of bookkeeping software that's online. Maybe that's the problem. You know, there's multiple things that can be improved in each of these buckets. It's going to help you move forward. So we're going to go through each of these buckets and talk about some of the processes that can help improve and move the needle. So marketing. This one is really good. Create content by dictating notes into an app. So there's so many different like phone apps like Slack, Notability, Notes, where you can bring up your phone and you can click on the little microphone right here and talk into your phone, and it's going to print out the text, right? It's gonna, you know, write it down for you, so you don't have to write down yourself. Now, this is how I would suggest doing it. Let's say you're at a job site and, you know, you get in your car, you could bring up your phone, bring up one of these apps, or there's multiple other ones, click on the microphone and just take some notes of, you know, maybe you were helping a client you're working on a kitchen and you're solving some like space planning issue, right? You could take notes, or maybe there's some new products, or, you know, just think about what things you're working on problems that you're solving, think about how that could create a story, or you could even do some before and afters. You're at the job site, you're taking some photos or a video, and then you get into the car and you dictate like some notes that can be sent to your marketing team. Right? That's a great way to get content down, because what typically happens is, you're working on a project, it's taking multiple months, you get done with the project, you're exhausted, you forgot everything that happened when you worked on the project, and also you don't have the time to go sit down for several hours and write out all the notes. So this way you can create content as you go. The thing I like about Slack, if any of you have worked in Slack, is you actually can set up a separate channel for each of your, for each project. So like we have for each client, we have a separate Slack channel, and that way we can send information, we can put information in there specifically for them. If you have other people on your team, they can also be on Slack, and they could pick up, you could dictate some notes. You could even dictate some notes of what needs to happen and change on the project. And if you have an assistant or somebody that's also in Slack, they can get notified and make those changes. That's a great way to communicate. Create content using assets you already have. So creating content can be hard because you're thinking, well, I don't know what to write about, right? Think about a process checklist. So let's say you're working on your processes to improve them, and then you create a process checklist that can be used as like a lead magnet. Right? Product samples, new trends, client stories, so many interesting things that you could be, writing content on. I'm not saying that you would actually be doing the writing, but you do, to create good content, think about taking rough notes on your phone, dictating them instead of typing them all out. Save a ton of time. Create content in blocks of time. So when people are telling me that they need to be on social media like every day, no, that's not efficient. Create content in blocks of time, and then or using your app, like I said, your phone, where you're dictating it, and sending it to your team. Be efficient. Have a system for organizing your files. So that can also really help whoever you're working with. And if you're working by yourself and you're thinking, well, I remember everything, the more like you have processes set up, the less energy it's going to take. It's also, if you're thinking of hiring somebody at any time, or having somebody help you, even a VA or a marketing team or anybody else but yourself, get that information out of your head. Like set it up so it is organized, it's labeled, your images are labeled, they're in folders and everything. That way, if you do hire somebody or you have somebody on your team, they don't have to come to you and ask all these questions. It's wasting their time, and it's wasting your time, and all that time that's wasted is less time that you have doing more important things, staying in that superpower. Use social media scheduling software. Like we use Loomly. We also pretty soon will be using our high-level software, which is amazing. So they're going to be, right now they do social media scheduling, but not Pinterest, but they're going to be adding that. But Loonly, Hootsuite, Tailwind, like they are all, you know, really good. Then you can schedule it out. You don't have to be on social media every day. This is a must. Book leads using online calendar software. It is such a waste of time going back and forth. And it's not just your time that's wasting. It's wasting your prospects' time, your clients' time. And they might decide to work with somebody else because it's easier to schedule a conversation with them. So having an online calendar, you can have full control of the times that are available. You can block time, so a certain day, you know, isn't available. There's so much control you have over the online calendars. It is an absolute must. People, you know, have super short attention spans. If they find you and several other, you know, interior designers online, and it's late at night or on the weekend when they're able to get together with their spouse or whoever they're with and look at, you know, different companies. The companies who have an online calendar are going to probably get the opportunity to talk to them first. There's a lot of studies that say if you're the first one to have a conversation when you're selling, the percentage, the chance that you're going to close them and they're going to work with you is significantly higher. And also if you're going back and forth, you know, multiple times about what time you're free, it's not a great user experience. So for me, like if somebody cancels an appointment, they go into an automation where they're asked to, you know, reschedule. If they send me a message, like, then I send them a link to my calendar. You know, so I'm not going back and forth, like, are you free here and are you free there? Because I don't know about you, but what happens is my calendar gets pretty booked up pretty fast. So if I'm going back and forth, then the times that I had told them that might be available, maybe aren't available anymore, you know. And the other benefit is, like, if they can look at your calendar when, like, let's say it's a husband and wife together, they can both check their calendars as they're booking the appointment. So instead of like going back and forth, they might not always be together to communicate. Well, now are you free this time or this time, right? So it's just saves so much time. Use automated appointment reminders. That also can be really a huge time saver. You'll have less people, you know, not showing up or canceling at the last minute. We find that, like, our software High Level does both text message and email, like, appointment reminders. The text messages, absolutely, like, you get a higher response rate from the text messaging. So that's why I like the High Level software, because of that. The emails, like, our automation also adds the Zoom link. So I like the Zoom link. We send the Zoom link in the text message and also in the email, but I like it to be in the email, you know, because what happens is a lot of times they're joining maybe not from their phone, but from a desktop. Like you want them to be able to click on the Zoom link in the text message to join, or click on the link in the email to join the meeting. So that's why it's great, you know, when there is both. And not everybody keeps up on all their email, but most people keep up on their text messages. Sales. So manage your contacts with, you know, CRM software. So if you're thinking of like building a list so you can stay in front of people, which I highly recommend, then you really need to have like software to do that. If you're growing your business, absolutely having this software is a must. Not everybody is ready to buy when they first contact you or when they interact with your business. Maybe they're thinking of doing a project in 6 months. Like you want to stay in front of them. You have to have your contacts in a system. Also think about when, you know, if you have a team member, you want your contacts to be all together so they can like log into the software. Everybody has access to the information, whether you have a team now or you're thinking of adding a team. Plus, it's a lot of wasted time. It's a lot of wasted time going through, you know, and trying to, where did I put this person's information, right? If it's always in the same place, it is less energy and less time to go find it. You want to have those, like, be really organized, make it easy. Think about simplifying everything. We, at the end of the year, we pick our, like, a little saying that we're going to use for the next year. You know, several times I've picked like focus and simplify. Like if you have like a focus, you're going to pick up more momentum than, you know, doing a little bit of everything. Try to have like a focus, like really try to specialize and get good at whatever you're doing. And then simplifying everything, make your life easier. Simplify, organize, use one tool for all of your communication. So again, I've mentioned high level. I mean, there's a lot of different software. We've used a lot of different software and a lot of different software for clients. So there's a lot of different ones. I love the high level CRM software. It's kind of like all in one. And I bring it up because I don't think that I haven't found another software that does everything from the online calendars, text messaging, email messages, email marketing, you know, can take payments online. Like it just does a massive amount of things all in one. Typically software like high level is more for sales and marketing. It is not bookkeeping software. It is not proposal software. It is not project management software. So there isn't one software that does all of those things. It's better to get several. You don't want a million types of software, but it is better to get like several types, you know, like a project management software, a bookkeeping software, a sales and marketing software. You know, all those things are super important. You can store like in all like CRMs. You can software. You can always store custom information. So in all the systems we have worked in over the years, everything from Salesforce to Active Campaign to High Level, you know, any of them. Like usually there's some fields that are standard, and then there's the ability to add custom information. Use a sales pipeline. So this can be helpful. So you can look at, where are my clients? Like, where are they at? Do I need to follow up with them? Have they made an appointment? Have I given them a proposal? Have I lost? Have I won? You know, they can be more complex than this, but this is like the basic. We can even, you know, like if somebody fills out, like, let's say they book an appointment, it can automatically go into the pipeline. So some of these can be like automated, putting them like where the people, you can also in a lot of these softwares like drag and drop. This is a sales pipeline screen. This is from High Level, but all of them really, I think, have like a sales pipeline. Use OneOff email templates. So think about when you're writing email templates, or when you're writing an email, is this an email that I send consistently? Like if it's one that you're sending all the time, like let's say it's one to send them a link to my online calendar. Like I have multiple ones here, like set up. Like, you know, they canceled. Are they still interested? Or do they just need to reschedule? Or, you know, do I need to just set up a 30-minute appointment? You know, can I send them a text message saying, hey, I just emailed you over a link to book an appointment with me. But setting up those multiple ones can save you 50 to 90%, maybe even 100% of the work of thinking about typing this all out every single time. Like I want a few minutes here, a few minutes there is going to add up. It's going to help you get more done and not be working 24/7. Use an email template to get Google reviews. Absolutely. Like to get Google reviews, which are more important than ever, you need to send them a link so they can click on it to give you a Google review. That's super important because it's hard for people to figure out how to give you a Google review. That's why it's so hard to get them. And then the other part is a lot of people don't know what to write. So if you send them an email template that gives them kind of some ideas on like what to write. What was your project like? What problem did you help them solve? That can really help your review. Them give you a better review than just, yes, you were nice to work with. We want a like longer, more detailed review of what you did for them. Create one-off text message template. So again, instead of just like email, think about doing like text messages too, that you could do one-off text messages. Send and schedule messages to multiple contacts. I know this is a feature that I haven't seen on other software, but software is always changing, so it might be, this is in High Level where you can actually select several people And then you can either send them a text message or an email, like all at once, but it's not a group text or a group email. It's just they're being scheduled to go out at once. And you can even schedule them for, like in a couple of days, or you can send them all at once. You can schedule them to go all at once, but at a certain time, or you can even schedule it in a drip mode. So if you're sending a lot of them, let's say you have some kind of special or something, you could send it out that way. Create a sales deck. People are, when you're working with prospects or when you're, selling to prospects, they are looking at everything you do to see, like, is it professional? Do they seem organized? Like, can I trust this person with my large project? If you don't have a good sales process and you're not responding to them, it's hard to have a conversation with you. You don't have a professional presentation. You don't have like an easy way to like understand what you're offering, or an easy way to pay and like sign up to work with you. They're going to think that it's going to be difficult to work with you when you're helping them with their project. So that's why all these things are super important. It's super important for your marketing to look super professional. It's super important for your sales process to look really professional. Operations. Use project management software. There's multiple different types. Absolutely, like, use project management software. There's specific ones for interior designers. There is, we use ClickUp. I love ClickUp because you can customize it. Taylor, who's on board here, she's a whiz at ClickUp. But there's a lot of different ones. So, but use one to make sure that you're getting all those systems and processes out of your head and you're getting them like set up in some kind of project management software. It'll be less energy for you to like deliver things, because you won't have to think about, oh my gosh, like, what are all the steps, right? You'll have an outline, process to follow. If you're thinking of hiring anybody, or if you're thinking of like using a VA or anybody like that, having those systems and processes like a project management software is super important, like to help organize all of those. I know in the past when I've told Ashley, oh, we need to hire somebody, she's like, we can't hire anybody until we get those systems and processes in place. Most of the time, all our systems and processes are mostly in our project management software, right? So that's how they're organized. That's how we find them. So that's why that's super important. Keep your team connected with Slack. Slack is great software. It's kind of, if you haven't used it, it's kind of like text messaging on steroids. That's the best way I can describe it. It is like, we have different channels. We have a channel, like I said, for each of our clients that we're working with. So if I wanted to ask one of our team members, I had a question for them, then I can just go to the client's like channel, click in the channel, write like a little at Ashley and type in my question, and she will get that notification. So we also have channels for other things, and you can invite people to some channels and, you know, not invite everybody to all channels. You can invite like specific people to different channels. So like we have different channels where different people are invited to those, which gives you a little bit more control over, you know, the conversation. Document all your processes in an index. So like think about, we call them seats, like who's in charge, the service that you're delivering, like, you know, what's the name of the service? Is it like for a kitchen or is it for a bathroom? You know, name of the person, like name of it. Like there's going to be, if you're doing a bathroom, there's going to be several different steps, several different processes that need to be made. Here is like the name of it, what it is, the owner of it, the status of it, right? We're constantly like updating this. Ashley is amazing at updating this. In fact, she has it. It's not something that you can really create like in a week. It's something that needs to be continually worked on and updated. Like, for example, you know, I do sales. So I am constantly like updating my process for sales. It's, you know, I do it, it's working great and everything. And then I'm like, oh, I have some ideas on how to improve it and make it even better. So then when I make that system and process better, then I need to document it so other people can follow it. Or I do some things like with the finances, you know, again, those systems and processes, everything always works for a while and then things change or you have a better idea of how to improve it. And then you need to update it. Create client intake forms. So think about, could you create a client intake form to collect some of the information so your time with them, you're more prepared and you're like can focus on higher level things. Like for example, if somebody is going through our strategy process so we can write copy for them, do the copywriting for them, then we have them fill out a form and answer some questions before we have a meeting with them, right? So we could ask higher level questions and do a deeper dive in our time with them because we have all that background information. So think about that. You know, there's multiple ways you can think about, how can I work smarter? Use client one-off email templates. So maybe you have email templates for like client onboarding, or if you're working on a bathroom, are there certain steps that everybody goes through, and you have certain emails that, you know, could be made when it is, you know, that you could make that would make that easier. And in a lot of software, you know, you can use tags, like tagging like their first name, like this is, like I said, from high level, but we have tags that we can add here. You know, they could be the address, they can be whatever you want. So for example, if, and tags and everything are pretty common across like multiple types of marketing software, but the tags here, like let's say you can have like their address, you know, there's multiple things. Or let's say that part of your process is they're gonna you know, come to your studio, or you're going to, shop for some products for them. Like, are there certain things that you want them to know about that stage of the process that you could add to an email that you could reuse? And again, it's to get you 50%, 80%, 90%, or maybe even 100% of the way there. Maybe it's not like doesn't include everything. Maybe you have to customize it a little bit, but it gives you a really big head start. Finances. Create templates with proposal software. So using proposal software can look more professional and just be so much easier. And use proposal software, like a lot of them have a content library where you can create sections and drag and drop different sections. Integrate your CRM and bookkeeping software. So we do a lot of Zapier integrations where, there's so many different things that you can integrate. So think about when somebody fills out a form and then they make an appointment, they could be tagged, and then that information could go into the bookkeeping software. So just to give you kind of a, like, how much automation like we have and that we set up a lot of times for our clients is like, if somebody goes to their website, they book an appointment with an online calendar, right? They could even pay for the appointment. Then, if you want them to, then they fill out a form. All the information in the form goes into that CRM, whether it's the standard information or custom information that you want to collect. It goes into the CRM. And then that person is tagged. And once they're tagged, then because they created an appointment, so they might be somebody that you're selling to. So they're going to be tagged. And when they're tagged, for whatever bookkeeping software you're using, that tag is going to tell Zapier, hey, this person has been tagged. So I want to move, I want to take their contact information and add it to my bookkeeping software. And then at the same time that they book the appointment, then the online calendar is going to tell your calendar, like Google Calendar, it's going to see what's available, and then it's going to book that time on your Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, whatever you're using. And then it's going to add the Zoom link automatically. It's going to send that prospect out a text message and an email saying, thank you for booking the appointment, with a link to the Zoom meeting. And then it's also going to, it's going to also like create a task in your project management software. So there is like, that gives you a taste of, and then it's going to send that prospect like reminders for the appointment, right before, text message and email right before the appointment, to make sure that they're showing up on time. You can even add other things like, do you want them to fill out a form before you meet? Like, there's so many different things, but like for each person I have a conversation with, if I had to do that manually, right, that would take me time. That is just done all automated. That's how like amazing automation can be. I'm a huge fan of superpowers. I want you to think about your superpower. Identifying what energizes you. A great way to do that is write down everything that you're doing. Like, write it down. What are you doing for operations, sales, marketing, finances. Like, how come you're so overwhelmed, right? Write down everything that you are in charge of. Then I want you to write down, do you love it? Are you good at it? Do you love it? Are you okay? Do you love it? You're not good at it. And then do you hate it and you're good at it? Hate it, okay. Hate it, not good. This is also a way to identify what to delegate. If you're, look at what you hate and you're not good at, and then think about, how can I get support in this area? What does that look like? Can I set up systems and processes and maybe some software to make this easy? Like years ago, I was doing so I actually had a bookkeeper and everything, but there was so much, like it was costing so much for them to manually do so much of the finances, the invoicing and the bookkeeping and everything, that I spent a bunch of time like automating that whole process. There's still some manual stuff, but so much of it is automated that it's gonna, like, it costs much less and like time and the cost of it, both in order for our each month for our finances. So that significantly improved. But really think about what you hate, what you're not good at, and then how can you improve that systems and process or delegate that. If it is something that is done like manually, I'm always thinking about, can you automate it? Can you get software? Like, that is the least expensive solution. Like getting a VA to do everything or hiring somebody to do everything like manually is still not helping your business become more efficient and more profitable, and help you bring on more work, right? It's still like these days, you're expected to deliver a lot and still keep your pricing down, but you want to be profitable at the same time, right? You want to keep the profit up. So really thinking about improving those systems and processes and, software integrations, automations, those are going to be your least expensive, more effective way, and then even if you're thinking you're going to bring somebody on, if you can improve those systems and processes, they're going to be able to do more every day. They're going to be able to be more successful. They're going to be able to their work that they're going to be doing is more profitable, right? So it is a win-win no matter what angle you look at it. And if you're not technical, get people on your team that can help you with that. Because definitely, you don't have it. It's okay if it's not your superpower. It might be your hate, not good at. Get help. Get somebody to help you, no matter what that looks like. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us today. I hope that this was super helpful. Again, Taylor will put in chat a link to the free brand website and SEO audit. I spend about a half an hour looking at your brand online, everything from your website to Google business profile, Instagram, write up an audit, and then have a meeting with you to give you more clarity. thank you everybody so much for joining us, and I have a moment for some Q&As if there is any. Be happy to answer those. If not, have a wonderful day, and I hope this was super helpful for you. All right. Thank you so much, and go work on your systems and processes.